the local Cotuit leaders.
Good evening, Cotuit residents. During this challenging time, connecting with our community is more important than ever. We've scheduled this video conference to provide updated information on resources, needs, and status, and to receive comments and suggestions and answer community questions. I'm Paul Rue, Chief of the Cotuit Fire Department. At this time, I'd like to let the rest of the attendees introduce themselves.
Jim Danhauser, the Cotuit Civic Association.
Jessica Rapp Rossetti, Town Councilor, Precinct 7.
Fran Parks, Cotuit Prudential Committee.
Tom Hoppenstead, Cotuit Water Commission.
Ray Perone, Treasurer, Fire District.
Angela Minky-Ballou, Cotuit Federated Church.
Kevin Conley, Board of Fire Commissioners.
Chris Wiseman, Cotuit Superintendent for Cotuit Water Department.
This time, I'd like an opening statement from Pastor Angela Minky-Ballou.
I was invited to begin with a little bit of centering time, and one of the ways that we can practice resiliency in this time is to be in touch with our gratitude. And so I wondered if those of you who are gathered here, who are watching us on Facebook Live, if you might take a moment and share with us what you are grateful for, what gratitude has arisen even in the midst of these challenging times of being physically distant from one another. And so I'm going to see if anybody has any words of gratitude that you could lift up. You can do that just in the comment section. You'll find that on the side of the live stream that there is a place where you can type in your comments and share them here. So I'm just going to invite us to take a moment and center ourselves to be in touch with our gratitude. We lift up this community and all of the people who work to make it a safe and loving place to live. And we lift up all of our leaders at a local, state, national, and global level in this time. And we pray that they have guidance. And we ask these things in the many ways that we know God to be holy. Amen. I'm seeing that we have some people lifting up local heroes who come in different shapes. And I think that is so true. We can all be grateful for that. And so as we keep these moments and times of gratitude in our hearts, we'll begin this time of sharing our local response to what's happening.
Thank you, Pastor. At this time, I'd like to have Councilor Jessica Rapp Rossetti give us a Town of Barnstable report.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you, everyone. This is all new, our living life at a distance, and I'm grateful for my community and everybody coming together, and and welcome to those that are listening in or observing. I'm not, guess, watching us live. So I'll just do a little bit of business with the town. I am in daily briefings with the town staff. I hear from all department heads on a daily basis, including the director of the board of health, Mr. McKeon. One thing that's come to my attention is the overcrowding at the Stop and Shop in Marston's Mills. With regard to senior hours, you know, where a lot of us are seniors now. So I'm finding that the hour dedicated to senior shopping, the market is very crowded. So management has been told again today to please remind the shoppers there to keep their distance, They do have tape on the floor marking off where you're supposed to stand waiting in line to check out, but also in the aisles, try to keep your distance and practice good hygiene shopping. I know there are some stores that are limiting the shoppers that go in, but Stop and Shop is not going to be doing that at this time. A little note for all the shell fishermen. Shoestring Bay has been closed effective April 1st through the end of October. There will be no shell fishing of any kind allowed due to water quality. And further, with regard to the shell fishing permits, this town is given a reprieve on having to the time to get a new permit has passed. It's usually March 1st, but they're giving a reprieve until May 1st. So you can shellfish, we're opened until May 1st on last year's permit for those that do that. The other thing too is with regard to the town, and we do have a town council meeting coming up Thursday, and it's going to be done via Zoom. The public's welcome to participate and ask questions because we're going to be starting our capital improvement plan. And that's usually done in March, and we would have already had one meeting with the capital improvement plan, but this will be the first meeting. And I will say that it was multi-million-dollar plan, which is going to be significantly reduced. Only items of necessity and that are in the middle of projects are going to be brought forward to the council. The rest are either going to be continued to a date uncertain, or to be withdrawn completely. All departments have been directed to do a 5% reduction in their operating expense, and the operating budget will be coming up after the capital improvement budget. Also, the town will not be giving any cost of living increases or bonuses to any staff members this year. I think that's my report for this week. I'm happy to take any questions.
This time the Prudential Committee is going to give a report. Prudential Chairperson Fran Parks and Treasurer Ray Perone are on the line here.
Good afternoon. I hope everybody's doing well, and I'm grateful that everyone I know is healthy and staying indoors. As you know, the stay at home and distancing by the president has been extended to the end of April, which is severely, essentially cancels our May meeting because of the time requirements of the various steps that we need to do for voting and having the warrant prepared. So right now, it's a possibility we'll have it in June, but there's no certainty of that. As Jessica was implying, the governor on March 13th suspended some of the open meeting law requirements so that we can meet individually at our homes via Zoom or other streaming, and so that we're able to conduct business as necessary. One of the difficulties that the districts are having is the legislation that the governor proposed that allows, if town meetings can't be held by June 30th, to go into deficit spending. Unfortunately, that legislation did not include districts, and there have been people are working on trying to get that straightened out. The current legislation that we have allows the moderator to postpone a meeting or extend a meeting, but in some sections of the legislature of the laws, you have to have a meeting in order for the meeting to be postponed to a future date. So there are two bills currently pending, and they, in some ways, address the difficulty of the districts in actually being able to, go past June 30th if necessary. And it would allow the district to complete business using the current year's budget, and just using 1/12 of the budget until it's able to meet and adopt a new budget for the fiscal year. And that expenditure would have to be authorized by approved of by the state. So right now, we're just sort of in limbo and on hold until we can clarify exactly, when we can postpone a meeting, and actually, hopefully, when we can have a meeting. If we can have a meeting in June, then we should be able to pass pass the budget for next year. And obviously, as the town has looked at expenditures in the budget, I think we're going to have to do that also. And I'll accept, and glad to take any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Parks. I'm going to give the Cotuit Fire report. We're currently fully staffed. We just hired 2 paramedics to fill open positions. They'll be starting in the next 2 weeks. At this point, all staff are healthy, fortunately. We've appointed 36-year Cotuit Fire veteran Joseph Pouliot as acting deputy fire chief. We're looking for that to help us through these potentially challenging times. We've also created a list of potential call staff that we can bring on if our staffing levels drop below minimums. Using the CDC's recommendation of reuse of N95 masks, we have sufficient supplies for several weeks and have much more on order. We've had several members of the Cotuit community, including the church, Edie Herbert and my mom, make fabric mask covers for our N95 masks. That has allowed us to extend the useful life of these masks. We've also purchased jumpsuits, fabric jumpsuits, and material grinding face shields, both of which are reusable, washable for PPE supplies for us. The station is currently physically closed to all public and off-duty firefighters, but we're available by phone and electronic messaging. We're open for business. We've adjusted staffing and work schedules to isolate our 3 work groups. So one work group enters through the front door as the other group exits out the back door. The oncoming crew disinfects the station prior to starting work for the day. We contracted with to have our ambulance and station fogged with disinfectant on a weekly basis, and have ordered supplies and equipment to enable us to do that on our own on a more often schedule. Our call volume has been low, but we're starting to see increase. We're starting to see some patients with COVID-19 symptoms. According to the Town of Barnstable Health Department, we currently have 3 confirmed COVID-19 patients in Cotuit. However, there is a time delay in these notifications, so we're not sure exactly how many we really have. We've been told Cape Cod Healthcare has canceled all effective elective procedures and added exterior triage tents, drive-through testing at the Cape Cod Community College, and is working on increasing capacity. Your fire department's open. We're ready for emergencies, and at this time, we're ready and capable of handling pretty much anything. That's our report. Cotuit Water Department, Superintendent Wiseman.
Thank you, Chief. Can you still hear me there, Chief?
We can hear you. You're loud and clear.
All right. Thank you, Chief. Cotuit Water Department is closed to the public. We're open for business through telephone, and we will respond to any emergencies. We're working on a limited basis. We are fully staffed, but we're trying to keep everybody separate right now. The foyer, like I said, is closed to the public. It's actually closed to employees except for the office manager. She comes in and goes out the front door. We go in and out the back door if we're working. Only assistant superintendent and myself are allowed in the office. We are working limited stuff right now that there is no contact with the public to do. We're always available by emergency phone. If you have to call, if you listen to the machine, there's a phone number, emergency phone number there that will always call the employee who is on call at the time, and will respond to you within half an hour, and we can still handle any emergencies that come about. We're pretty lucky that we can run everything from home through a dial-in service, or excuse me, a fiber optic service to get in there. But we are lucky there that we have the capabilities to do it. So there's really not much of a problem how we're doing it now. It's just more of just trying to stay all the employees safe and the public at the same time. There's no problem with the water. It's not a water transmitted that we know of. That hasn't been proven that way. It's all in the air, in droplets. So if you need us, we'll be there still. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent. Civic Association, President James Danhauser.
Thanks, Chief, and thanks for organizing this opportunity for us to address ourselves to the villagers here in Cotuit. I think it's a great thing to do. Just a couple of things. First, a primary mission of the association is to try to communicate with the villagers in Cotuit about matters that affect village life. In these challenging times, we're going to continue with that effort, which primarily consists of using our constant contact email list to pass along information that comes to us from various sources, especially the town of Barnstable, as developments warrant. Now, if any of you do not currently receive those emails and wish to be included going forward, just send us an email, including your email address, and we'll add you to the list. You can reach us at cotuitcivicassociation@gmail.com. That's Cotuit Civic Association, no space, no punctuation, cotuitcivicassociation@gmail.com. Second, as you know, we usually prepare and distribute the Cotuit Currents newsletter on a monthly basis, which lists the coming events of the various nonprofits that are active in the village. We've suspended the Currents for the time being just because everybody's schedule is in limbo. And at such time as the situation returns to normal, which it will in time, and the various entities have established what their calendars are going to be, we'll resume that publication and distribution. And as you know, we usually have meetings on the third Thursday of every month at Freedom Hall, starting in April and continuing at least through August. That schedule is just put on hold for the time being. We will not have a meeting in April. And I suspect that we will not have a meeting in May either, because that's usually the candidate and budgets night. And that would be, as Fran said, that's a little bit hard to see that coming together in May. The decision on those meetings will have to wait until we see how the situation develops. And finally, please feel free to email the association at any time with any questions that you might have, and we'll do our best to get an answer for you as promptly as we can. Remember to try to support your local businesses, especially the Coop and the Kettle Ho, and above all, stay safe. Take care of yourself, your family, your loved ones, and each other. Thanks.
Thank you, President Danhauser. Pastor Angela Mickey-Blue has a report.
I'm the final person to offer a report, and so following my report, there will be a time of questions and answers. So if you have a question, you can start typing that in now. The report of the Cotuit Federated Church is that as much as possible, we are trying to move online. We have moved our worship onto Facebook Live, and we are streaming worship at 10 a.m. Every Sunday. We also, on Tuesdays at noon, are offering a children's story time. On Thursdays at noon, we are offering a prayer time. And on Fridays at noon, we're offering a hymn sing, all on Facebook Live. We hope that these will be moments of inspiration for the community and moments of connection. We also have moved all of our gatherings onto Zoom, so we're having coffee hours and meetings and Bible studies and our prayer circle on Zoom. We've closed our building for all non-essential work, but we have chosen to recognize some of our work as essential. We had a previously planned blood drive for today for the Cape Cod Healthcare Blood Center, and they asked us to continue to have that date, and they actually asked for us to add a second date. So tomorrow we'll also be having a blood drive, and those blood drives are completely full. And we're asking that we don't have walk-ins, but the response has been beautiful to see in terms of people donating blood to help the community. We also have decided that preparing meals for people who are facing food insecurity in our community is essential work. And so we are preparing meals, 3 lunches this month for the Salvation Army out of our building, and they'll be delivered to the Salvation Army because the Miracle Kitchen there is closed. And they will be grab and go lunches that will be distributed there. We are also working one evening a month with Faith Family Kitchen. And Faith Family Kitchen is serving families and individuals 3 evenings a week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at the Faith Assemblies of God in Hyannis. We are very concerned about food insecurity and want to make sure that everybody knows what is available, that the schools are offering food for anybody under 18. You can go to the school locations listed in the town, and they also have some drop-off locations. And we'll post that in the comments following this meeting so that anyone who has someone under 18 who may need food can have access to that food. The Barnstable Adult Community Center is also offering food for anyone over 60. They have also grab and go into cars that people can get. And we are gathering food cards to make sure that people who might not have access to food due to layoffs or lost hours don't go hungry. We have a number of people within the church who have offered to run errands for elders or other people who are facing immunocompromised situations where they are anxious about going out into public. So if you could contact me at cotuitpastor@comcast.net, I would be happy to connect people who have those needs with people who are willing to run errands. We have also become a drop-off location for people who are making the contingency cloth masks. There is a bin on the sanctuary steps. These homemade masks will be distributed through the Barnstable County Health and Environment. We're grateful to be a part of such a generous and caring community, especially at this time. And that is the report of the Cotuit Federated Church. And with that, we will move to a time of questions and answers. And I'm receiving a question. Today, I heard through the that the Yarmouth beaches are closed now. Not sure if it is true or not. Are there any thoughts on whether or not the Cotuit beaches will be closed?
I think I can answer that. The discussion, they are correct. Yarmouth beaches have been closed for quite some time per the Board of Health. I know the selectmen were not happy with that decision, but the health director, he's the man during crisis like this. The Barnstable beaches, there is concern with the parking lots being filled with people and people congregating. So they have not closed them. I said it would be very difficult to close the Cotuit beaches because we can't just close gates to the parking lot. But the manager and staff and health director feel that, I mean, being outside is our only solace at this point to be able to recreate. So as long as people are careful and not in large groups, we're going to continue to keep the beaches open. Absolutely. I do have a question that someone sent to me. Is it okay to... Is it okay to bring up my question?
Please, go ahead.
Okay. I'm watching live. Please ask the chief the date on which Cotuit had 3 COVID-19 cases. I understand his info is out of date, but how far is the reporting? How far behind is the reporting?
Good question. We're not 100% sure how old the data is. It seems to be, I mean, it's changed by the day. Originally, it seemed to take several days from the date of the test for the patient to get results. And then it seemed like there were several days from the patient getting the results till the health department getting results. So My assumption is it's probably a week old, but it changes by the day, and I could be off.
If I could just add to that as well, the health director, Mr. McKeon, in the town of Barnstable, was reporting how many cases in the town of Barnstable. However, he's been instructed not to report the cases town by town, only county reporting. So that's what's being sent out now. And if you look on the Board of Health's webpage, he does an update regularly on the total number of cases in the state, and then it's broken down by county, including, unfortunately, the deaths. But also they're reporting how many people are surviving and recovering from the virus.
I am not seeing any other new questions come in. But a lot of gratitude for us having this format. And we plan to have this as a weekly conversation where we can gather and update what's happening in terms of the local response. And also where people have a chance to ask questions and voice concerns. We just wanted an opportunity that we can be in communication and support one another. With that, I'd like to take a moment to have a closing prayer. And so let us just take a moment to be in touch with God as we know it, or people of faith and people of no faith are welcome to just hold this space of thoughts and prayers and gratitude. So let us be together. Holy One, we thank you that we have this strong and beautiful community where we live, where we are inspired by the beauty and moved by the character of the people who live here. We hold in our thoughts and prayers all who are ill at this time and their families and friends. And we lift up all of those who are already grieving and pray that you be with their loved ones. We hold in our thoughts and prayers all of our first responders, all of the medical staff, and all other essential workers, those in grocery stores and pharmacies, those in leadership who are helping to make our daily life livable. We lift up, again, our leaders on all levels, on the local level, the state level, the national level, and the global level, that you might be with them and bring them wisdom and guidance, that we might make it through this emergency with grace and dignity and great health. We lift all of this up into your light and your love, and we offer these prayers in the many ways that we know you to be holy. Amen.
Thank you, everybody. See you all back here next Monday, same time, same place.
Have a good evening.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Chief. Thanks, Chief.
Be safe.
Okay.